All right, let's close things out with the Night of the Demons remake. Now, a couple things to say before this starts. Number one, I am not opposed to remakes at all. I have liked and loved many in horror and in other genres, and there are some that I prefer to the original, like, The Hills Have Eyes, or Maniac, or, something like that. Call me crazy. That's fine. I don't give a shit. It's my opinion. Now, this is a movie that I remember enjoying. I saw it, back in '09 when it came out, and was pleasantly surprised because I thought it was going to be awful. And I think this further, makes the point that expectations can really affect your viewing. So if you think something's going to be super shitty, it ends up being okay because of how low your expectations were, and vice versa. Man, I have to say that is the case here, because shit, did this not age well, or my expectations were moderate because I remember enjoying it okay because my expectations were down here and they were like, it got here, and so I went in here and they ended like here. So I think this is, maybe just some expectation. I did not hate this movie, but I was not a fan. It did not hold up at all. So getting into the movie itself, it is about a party that's being thrown by Angela, which the name Angela and the party and the demons was pretty much the only thing this has to do with the original. You could have changed the name of the character and it pretty much would have just been like, oh, this kind of feels like Night of the Demons, sort of. She throws a party, a bunch of kids come. Edward Furlong's character, Angela, is played by Shannon Elizabeth. Edward Furlong's character is this drug dealer. This drug dealer tells him he has till tomorrow to make his return, or he's going to kill him. A lot like The Collector. So he goes to this party to sell drugs and gets caught up there with a bunch of other, whatever age group this is supposed to be. I don't know, early 20s. They're all partying at this place called the Brossard Mansion, I think is how you say it. I don't remember. So, yeah, not Whole House. Why do they just call it Whole House? I mean, what's the point of getting the rights to a film like this and then just not using certain things that are very, iconic to the film? That would be like buying the rights to, Halloween and not calling it the Myers house. It's just, why? So let's get into the things that I like. I think that first off and foremost for this movie has a pretty kick-ass soundtrack throughout. Neon lighting, I always rave about this, and here yet again, there's a lot of neon lighting. Although a decent amount of this movie is lit terribly. But we'll get into that in my negatives. They brought back the nipple trick, from the first movie. Except for this time, instead of just pushing into her nipple, it fucking shoots out of her pussy, which I thought was hilarious and probably my favorite part of the movie. I really like the look of the demons. For the most part, I thought Angela's makeup was kind of silly, but a lot of the background demons looked cool. Like one had like a skull face and it looked like, inside was missing. And it looked cool. I like that a lot. There were some funny moments, there's some decent little banter here and there. It was sporadically sprinkled in just to kind of keep you interested a little, but not enough for me to be like, oh yeah, I had a good time. I didn't really have that good of a time. In fact, I checked what point the film was at on my display like 6 or 7 times. That's not a good sign. And then one of the demons had tentacle nipples. You shot him. I thought that was pretty hilarious. And unfortunately, that's really all I have to say. Oh, well, I mean, Linnea Quigley makes a really cool little cameo. She's wearing the same ballerina outfit from the first movie, so that was really cool to see. I mean, she's obviously like 20-something years older in this, but whatever. It's Linnea. She's fucking awesome. Edward Furlong. Fuck, I know everyone brings this up. Like, he looks so bad in this movie, but fuck, he looks so bad in this movie. What has happened? I don't know. I don't know what he looks like now. Hopefully better than he did in this movie. I talked about the opening of the last three films, so I might as well talk about the opening in this one. For the first one was animation. The second was just boring bullshit. The third one was like CGI animation. And in this one, they went for like this 1920s silent film era sepia tone opening with like flashcards like they did in the old silent films, which the murder or the demon outbreak of the last time took place in the 20s, so they did this. It was alright, it was kind of cool, but it really didn't go anywhere. I like seeing Tiffany Shepis in this. I always love seeing her in anything. I have a funny story about her I told in another video, so I won't bore you with it again. It was fun to see some iconic horror villain characters at the Halloween party. You know, you don't see that a whole lot, but at the party that they're going to, there is Billy the Puppet. And then you also see Victor Crowley from the Hatchet movies, which I was shocked to see. I was like, whoa, there's Victor Crowley. So I don't know if there is any connection like between the director and, you know, Adam Green or whatnot, but there he was in there. And then so I guess let's just dive right into the negatives. The first like 30 minutes of this movie has like a ton of slow motion party scenes, girls dancing in slow-mo, and you know, just unnecessary shots. I felt like I was watching a bad old music video from the 90s a lot of the time, and it just wasn't, there wasn't really any dialogue that was catching my attention. There wasn't really anything going on that was all that exciting except for some girls' cleavage and boobs, and I fucking adore tits and this and that, but I was just pretty much bored for the whole first 30 so minutes. This movie has a ton of fast, choppy cut editing, like Paul Greengrass style. Just, the camera's moving around, it's fucking choppy editing and bad lighting, so you can't really tell what's going on a lot of the times. Almost every single time that anyone in this movie is fighting a demon, having a moment where a demon is attacking them or they're running from them or whatever the fuck is going on with the demons, why you're watching this movie, Night of the Demons, I want to see demons. That's like the whole fucking thing with the first three is you want to see the demons, you want to see how they look, you want to see the gore, the practical effects, this and that. You can't see fuck all in this because it's so and it's cutting, and the lighting is not that great, especially like when they're down in the tunnels under the house or whatever. God, that was so poorly lit and so frantic that you're just like, I don't know what the fuck is going on right now. I can't see shit. Man, when they get, now this is where I'm just gonna start bitching. When they get to this room in the movie, and they spend like a good 20 minutes of the movie in here. In fact, almost basically the entire last act takes place in this room. There's like writing on the walls. They tear off the paper, and there's all this writing under the wallpaper or whatever the fuck it is. And somehow this girl reads and translates it so fast. Now I get it, you don't want a character sitting there and taking time and just having minutes passed and blah 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 so that she could actually study the walls, but it's so jarring. It's just like she's looking at the wall for like a second and then she just becomes an expert at it. It's very, very dumb. If you haven't seen it, you'd have to see the scene. But the fact that they made her so quick to understand all of it, to be able to tell a story, and then she after she reads basically the whole wall to them, then she goes into the history of the house. It goes to flashbacks, and she's telling this story fluidly, as if she's reading it out of a book. And it's just like, that's how you're going to get your character to realize how to defeat the villains? What's all going on? Like, just some random bullshit writing on the wall that's not even legible, that just mostly is comprised of symbols and little bits of writing on the wall that are so spread out that you'd have to sit there and like write them all down to try to make any kind of cohesive narrative to what you were actually reading. Oh my God. Now, I try not to complain about stupid little things like this, but fuck, it was like begging me to rip it apart. It is so goddamn stupid. And then not only do they do that, but then they have to stay in this room. And if they stay in this room, they'll be fine. And unfortunately for them, the girl falls asleep, and then when she wakes up, something slides across and the door opens up, and the people, the two guys that are with her are asleep on the floor. And instead of waking them up like, hey, help me, she just whispers, hey guys. And then they don't wake up because she's fucking whispering. Why would they wake up? And then she just walks over and like walks out of the room for a minute. And it's like, really? You're not going to wake these guys up? You're just going to go investigate outside the barrier of which you seem to be this expert of how you're going to fucking keep yourself alive for the night. She then ends up, running back into the room or whatever. But it's just like, really? Like, why would the fuck... That was so annoying. And in a movie like this, I hate to break that kind of stuff down, as I said, but it's so dumb. And then, a minute later, like, they're supposed to stay there till dawn. And all of the sun, like, rises in, like, half a second. And it's so obvious what's happening. It's not a spoiler when it's this fucking obvious that the demons clearly manipulated their watches and made the fucking sun look like it was coming out the windows. And if you can see the sun directly out the window that's in your room, and all the demons are laced throughout the house, and you're wondering whether or not they're in the house still, why wouldn't you just go through the window that's in the room right outside instead of having to walk down the stairs, through the house, to the front door, go to the front door, which might not even be open, or you could just break that window, go right outside, and you're done. It's just, it takes all logic and all reason. Now, I have to admit, there is a line in this movie Edward Furlong says, I don't know it verbatim, but, kind of just the gist of it's basically like, stop trying to be logical. None of this shit makes any fucking sense. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's verbatim. But regardless, that's pretty much his movie. I don't know if this is just like him warning the audience or whatnot, but it's just like total disregard for any kind of logic, for every character to be stupid. And then the way the girl gets out of it, the way the girl actually survives the night, it's like on paper, maybe, it's like, yeah, that's a cool idea. And then she does it, and it's like, I'm going to talk spoilers really quick on this, so if you haven't seen it, shut off, but here we go. The girl throws a fucking noose around her neck, jumps out the window like the character does in the past, and hangs herself. And so all the demons go away, and they do this and that. And it's like, for one, I thought they were supposed to go away at dawn anyway, so why'd you hang yourself at fucking 6 in the morning when the sun was already on its way up and you would have been fine, but you tied a actual rope around your waist? And you had the thing around your neck too? Like, what are the odds? What are you, a fucking expert rope tire all of a sudden? That you trust your lengths of what's on your neck versus what's on your waist, and it's just going to give just enough taut tension here to not break your neck here for no fucking reason? Like, come on. Jesus Christ. And, like, I could look past this kind of stuff if there was really cool practical effects and there was really fun fucking dialogue and there's really, but really none of that kind of shit happens. It's like very basic shit. This had like a $10 million budget, and I don't see much of it on the screen. I feel like I don't know what they spent it on, but I'm very underwhelmed by this movie. Clearly, I don't know, man. Like the way she finds that rope, it just so conveniently happens to be in the room after Edward Furlong like falls through 4 stories of the house, and she just rappels down like a fucking expert, search and rescue team guy. Fuck off. Like, no, it just so happens to be a 40-foot length of rope right here next to the bed. Like, I'm all about just... I can't believe I'm complaining about convenient plot devices, complete plot devices or elements or whatever. This did not live up to my memory. My friends and I seem to remember this being better. I was just talking to them about it, and they were like, yeah, I think it was pretty good too. Our memory on this movie is wrong. It was fucking not good. In fact, the more I talk about it, the more I'm getting pissed off, and the more I fucking hate it. So yeah, Night of the Demons. I watched all 4, and they just kind of progressively went downhill. First one was great. Second one was pretty good. Third one was meh, and this one was pretty bad. So hopefully they don't make another one. Otherwise, I'll be committing suicide live on YouTube. Good night.